What's up, everybody? Another podcast.
Howdy.
We got
Yo.
us three here.
I'm Robby.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Camden.
And I'm Connor.
And I'm Spencer.
And I'm Nathan. We're going to talk about Green Day today.
You think Alex is going to get mad at this one? Because that
Well,
was
we
the one.
Okay, all right.
If we had a seventh one, we would have done it. Okay.
I had a joke because then I was going to be, and I'm...
I mean, that'd be Daniel, right?
Yes.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the Deep Sheep. Late Night with Deep Sheep. What up? I'm
Hello.
Robby.
This is us.
That is
2016. That's a TV show.
I'm Robby.
I'm Camden.
I'm Chris.
Thank you.
And I'm going to include everything that happened before this.
Wait, what?
So I don't know why. What do you mean before this?
What do you mean
There's-
before this? There was no
there's
before
light.
this.
There's life before this? What is
So Green Day has had a wonderful discography, and
Yeah, so today
Some
we're
could
going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly in Green Day. And the things that we do like, the things that we don't like, and the things that just confuse us sometimes. So we're gonna be going in.
got it. Keep it up. Don't you stop, boy. What did I say?
I had to stop. There's no more.
What? Then that's where you go like this, and it's like, you know.
All
So,
right, there's more.
there is-
Okay, there's more.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right.
Hey,
Okay.
Kim, you're wearing something white. No, I want to see you like pour that all over you.
We want to see those sexy pecs
Oh.
hidden underneath Reservoir and X.
It's like dry fit, so it would just like glide right off anyway. So I hope I didn't dent my water bottle there. But,
Anywho, we're going to be going in chronological order in terms of release date. So we're going to start with their very first album as Green Day, 1039/Smooth Slappy Hours, whatever the fuck.
that was
Green
my-
Day
And then,
for us,
All the way up to Father of All. So
as the audience kind of knows, Green Day has always been a special thing for us as Deep Sheep. And so is that. And
That's
Green Day has just been like, because all of us, meaning like me, you two, and Spencer and Connor, not so much Alex or Nathan or Daniel, but the five of us really like Green Day a lot. And back in the day, we all just became obsessed with this band, and we were going through their entire discography together, and it was just something that we shared, and it was really fun and exciting. And so Green Day always has held a special place in our heart. I feel like now we have grown past it. You know, we've all listened to a lot of other music and kind of explored it, but Green Day, at least for me, still remains my favorite band, still has my favorite
same.
songs of all time. I still am very attached to this band that has ups and downs in its discography.
Yeah. There's plenty of room for not likedness.
Yeah, but the good thing is Green Day always gets back up somehow. Like, it's not just like the soft franchise that's just it's like a whole little fun roller coaster. Just like that.
We were. That's how they sing too.
especially early on. Anyway, speaking of early on, let's start it off with 1039.
Let's take it back to 1991.
I think 90.
Well, 91 is when the compilation came out.
I thought 90 was when the compilation came out, and 89 was a bunch
No,
of
all right, who's correct, Robby? Look it up. Who's correct?
Yeah, I got it.
I might be wrong. I don't know. If I'm wrong, I'll just kill myself. So
Yo, that'd be good content. Do it on camera.
So who said 90 and who said 91?
I said 91.
well, no, we're not. Okay, I was gonna say we're not allowed to say it because that'll influence your answer.
July 1st, 1991.
Fuck.
So 1991.
How loud am I? Can my mom?
Bro.
What happened in 1991? This reminds me of the movie podcast, so I just want to have fun with that. What do we remember of 1991? None of us were born. That's going to be a recurring theme.
Nirvana was getting really big, and and arguably killed music. I'll say it. No,
Yep,
not really, but
what about Sprinkles?
Sprinkle. That was the height of fucking Sprinkles. Let me tell you.
Before it became all commercialized and shit. Kathleen Kennedy got all over it, ruined it. All right.
Capitalism took over and Sprinkles just became the conglomerate it is now.
Oh my god.
All right, Robby. So you said that you have the least to say about this album, so why don't you go first?
I really like a lot of it was just the same sound, and that's kind of what you can get out of like a band's early work. You see this a lot in like the Beatles, Fall Out Boy, a lot like Linkin Park. A lot of their early stuff tends to sound very, very similar because they're going off of one sound, tweaking it a little bit and writing different lyrics. That tends to be the way that it usually goes.
Yeah, trying to find their style in a way.
Yeah, and the interesting part with Green Day is that they're like a lot of their stuff, from what I know, in this comp album, it's coming from a different it's a different group than what we know as Green Day is now.
Yeah, Trey Cool's not the drummer.
Yeah, so there's different inputs there and all that sort of stuff. So it's a different album of its own. Like I even kind of consider it as Sweet Children's album, and then Kerplunk as like the first Green Day album.
That's fair, sure. Fun fact: everyone in the band at this time was younger than we are today.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy.
What they're doing. That's crazy. Yeah, no, I think in general,
should we make a band?
Should we make a band?
Yo, I got an idea for a group. It's called Deep Sheet. We're gonna release an album, and then we're gonna take 7 years to make the next album.
Well, we're gonna like release it like track by track.
Yeah, and the tracks
you don't get the whole album.
Yeah,
but like there'll be breaks in between different tracks where it's like maybe this might take like a month or break or so.
You'll get the album in volumes, you know.
And the last track on the album will, for some reason, be 40 minutes long, just because sometimes things balloon, you know.
Yeah. I would have.
So what's your good, bad, ugly overall?
I think overall I'm gonna put it with the ugly because I liken it to an ugly stepchild. You know, it's not necessarily part of the family, but it kind of is. So.
Okay. Sure.
All had those.
Yeah.
I'll go next since I know that Camden knows this album the most out of all of us. So with Green Day, I don't know how many times I've listened to every album, but this album is definitely one that I don't revisit a whole lot. I kind of agree. It's definitely a band that's so early in its stages that it's still trying to find its voice and figure out what it's doing. Something that is really cool that I can appreciate about this album is from the beginning, Billy knew how to write good lyrics from the beginning. He was always really talented with that. Most bands kind of start off with sort of like an annoying gimmick or whatever, where it's like Blink-182 was very childish and immature, which I feel like a lot of punk bands do, or kind of like the Beatles, it's always about girls and stuff. But even from the beginning, Green Day was never really about those different stuff. It was always about just a kid or a teenager growing up and just being frustrated with the way the world is for him and talking about it. So that's really cool. The good of this album, my favorite songs are "At the Library" it's not my favorite. "At the Library" is my favorite.
I was like, I Was There.
"I Was There" is my favorite song from the album. And then going to "Pasta l'Aqua," gotta mention that one. That one's the most popular on this album, I'm pretty sure. So, and then for the bad, I don't really like "Rest." "Rest's kind of boring, kind of like what. And then I don't care for "Knowledge." "Knowledge" is just, they play it in concerts a lot and it's fun, but.
Yeah.
I just don't care for it. And also, as a whole, it's a comp album, so it's really long. It's like, it goes on for a long time, which doesn't help with the fact that a lot of the songs sound the same. Musically, they haven't matured yet, so they kind of are doing the same stuff over and over again. So when you got 19 songs, it really kind of becomes a drag a bit. But overall, it's sort of if I had to place the album, it would be kind of ugly bad, because I don't dislike it. I respect it. I respect it for what it is. But overall, it is lower on the discography for me.
Camdino.
So yeah, I like it. Wait, what did you put it at, Chris?
It's like
in the good, bad, ugly.
Bad. It's like weird because
if you had to pick one, where would you put it?
Ugly. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a complicated album for me.
Yeah. Well, I think the I think the thing about this is actually that technically it's not really complicated. It's just very simple, all the way around. But just like in terms of like how you feel about it, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it is very much like you hear one song, you hear all the other songs. There's not too many standouts where it's like oh, this is like they've showed off their talent a lot here. Even in the best ones, I think, like Going to Pasalacqua or Paper Lanterns. I just really love the part in Paper Lanterns in the chorus because he says, so when are all my troubles going to end? I'm understanding now that we are only friends. And I just like the way he's like, it's not just like, it's not just like blank, 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 blank. He like stretches it out when the rhyme comes in. And so I think they show even like way back then that they like have talent other than just like what a lot of people know them for, even now, as like verse chorus verse chorus verse chorus in a very small way. They show that like we have some things that like we're smart about and we know this. The only thing about this album too is that like pretty much everything is like a love song, which I guess is like all you write about when you're like 17, 18.
Yeah, sure.
So I guess that's like all you know is like girls, and even that you really don't know. It's
that little
you don't know much about life.
That little rhythmic thing, by the way, it's a triplet that they start with and they finish it with a couplet.
Okay.
Bum 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 bum. It's like a rhythm thing.
I did not know that.
He's
so
a music guy. There we go.
Yeah, dude.
I like the part where it goes bum 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 bum. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you mean no, man, you're thinking of beep boo boo bop boo boo bob.
No.
But yeah, it was funny because originally I was gonna be like, yeah, I think it's fair to put this one in the bad one, which would be funny because I feel like I might like this one the most. But
I think out of all five of us, you probably like it the best.
I'll put it ugly just 'cause, I mean, I would put it in either. I guess I'll put it in ugly, but like especially just like compared to the rest, it's definitely just a stepping stone and not much else.
For the lower albums of their discography, I respect this one the most. Unfortunately, even the albums that I'm like I would put in bad, they still have one gem in there that I can't help but listen to all the time. This album doesn't have that. And that's,
I guess I want to say favorites. Going to Pasalacqua and Paper Lanterns, and I really like Only a View. And actually, I think my favorite would be Dry Ice.
I'm
really
actually
like
surprised you don't
Dry
like.
Ice? I like the guitar riff on that one in the beginning.
Yeah.
Chris, I'm actually surprised you don't like Paper Lanterns that much.
I remember liking it, but just there's a couple that because like that one, Disappearing Boy. Why do you want him? Dry Ice is another one. But yeah, like I just can't really have them up there with the three that I like. And even then, the three that I like, all right, I like them. You know, I'll listen to them. But most of the time, if I have Green Day on shuffle and I reach one of these songs, I'm gonna skip it because I'm just like, I don't feel like it.
What I do like about Dry Ice a lot is that it just changes in the middle of the song, which I feel like is not a thing in punk rock a lot, at least up until that point.
And so, they kind of do that a lot moving forward. There's a lot of songs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of songs moving forward that they kind of start one move with, and then at some point halfway through, they just take it and finish it in a completely different way, but it's still really good.
Yeah.
And in that case...
because I just really like the part in Dry Ice where he's like, me is the pain that's in my heart. And then the drum fill comes in like... Even back then, I feel like they showed off just like their skills on their instruments.
Yeah.
God, just
right.
The hell
Kerplunk.
Achoo.
Kerplunk. Do we want to keep going with this order?
Cut that shit out.
Me, Chris, and Camden?
We can, sure.
Sure. We can go based off of who goes first is who we think likes it the least.
Yeah.
So
So I guess
might
that
end up being the same for like.
I guess that means me
Actually,
again.
No,
I feel like
we keep doing that, and then when American Idiot shows up, we just all fight each other.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we're gonna fight. I think we're mostly gonna fight on which ones are the best.
We all have like different favorites.
Yeah. Anyways, Kerplunk, I'm gonna go first because I feel like out of the three of us, I like it the least.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's not the same situation because this definitely has a much better, much more of a well-rounded sound.
Yeah.
And it definitely ebbs and flows, except for the last like 4 songs.
Yeah,
we automatically don't count those.
The one, it was made at the same time as all their 1039 albums, and also like it's just so completely different from Kerplunk was just like an obvious step up, and then this was like, wait, it's not.
And it's funny because like if they had to take songs from 1039, why was it those? Because they're the worst. So we ignore the Sweet Children EP. The album begins at 2000 Light Years Away and ends at Words I Might Have Ate.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to that, it's a really good album.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really solid outing, especially for being 92, man. Dude, 2000 Light Years Away, by far, bar none, my favorite on the album. And I don't really have much to say about the rest because a lot of it I just really liked. I don't think I have like a single, if I were to like color scale it like we do, I would maybe have like 1 yellow, and that might be like 80 or Android. But that's it.
Whatever.
Really? Not Dominated Love Slave?
No, I feel like it holds its place. I feel like it's kind of funny.
That's a hot take right there.
Dominated Love Slave Android? Wow. Oof. Coming at my fucking heart, huh?
Wow. Wait, what do you have it as?
I bet all the
we'll get to that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I bet all yellows look the same to you, huh? Actually, that might be too bad. We might want to
for this album. It's music.
For this album, for the music.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
It's for the music.
Regardless, I like the whole album as a whole. It's going in the good 100%.
Gotti. Yep. I really like this album a lot. Honestly, when it comes to my enjoyment of something versus my respect of something, this album really is high up there on the respect chart because I like the album a lot. It's sort of in the middle in terms of discography. 2000 Light Years Away is amazing. I love that fucking song. As a whole, you said that this was the first Green Day album. I never thought about that, but it's kind of true in a way. Like this is totally Green Day. Like when you listen to it, Trey Cool's there now. His drumming changes it up. You know, it's like, wow, I can feel it. And the quality is still like, oh, they're indie, but like it's just way better than the garage sound that was in 1039. Out of all the bands that I've listened to where they have an early album before they actually had a budget and backing, this is my favorite. This is all the pieces are there. Literally all they needed was just a producer to back them up. And thank God they ended up getting it. But yeah, Kerplunk is fantastic. Other than 2000 Light Years Away, the other standouts for me are Android and Words I Might Have Ate.
Hey man, I haven't listened to Kerplunk all the way through in years. So now if I did do it again, I'm probably going to listen to it again sometime soon and just probably smack myself.
Words I Might Have Ate I really like because that's their first acoustic song, purely acoustic, and I'm a fucking sucker when it comes to acoustic songs. It's not a ballad, which is nice. Usually it's always the deep, slow ballad that's the first acoustic song that a punk rock or a rock band does. But this one's just like a fun little ditty, just like, hey, And then other than the Sweet Children EP, which I don't count for, the only songs that I would say I'm not the biggest fan of, Dominated Love Slave is just kind of a joke. So it's just like thrown in there. It's like, all right, cool, we're fucking around. It's fine. My hot take, I'm not the biggest fan of Christy Road, TBH. I know that's a favorite on the album. That song for me is just like, I don't know, just kind of get a little bored when I listen to it, I
feel like that also started a lot when the Reddit had the Green Day Survivor thing.
Oh yeah.
And like Christy Road, it was that Christy Road beat 2000 Light Years Away in the finals of it, and I remember you were pretty heated about that. That might stem from that a bit too.
I still stand by 2000 Light Years Away should have won.
I at the time I know I wanted 2,000 Light Years Away to win. Now it's honestly only my sixth favorite of the album.
Oh wow, damn, it went down.
And I
Well, he has
have
Android as a
5
purple.
others that I like more.
I knew
So,
Android
okay.
you loved, and then Who Wrote Holden Caulfield you love.
Christy Road is up there now too, and One for the Razorbacks and One of My Lies. Those would all be my favorites.
Also,
So,
did we describe the color rankings to the audience, or?
Sure, real quick.
I'm just gonna briefly say all these
Sure,
colors. So we go through a random, not really random, but through the years we've been able to build this up in a color scheme sort of way. So gray is we have no opinion there. It's just too out there for us.
Mhm.
Red is fucking terrible. Orange is bad. Yellow is okay. Green is good. Cyan is great. Blue is awesome. And purple is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And Android is the first purple that we are encountering on Camden.
That's true, yeah.
For me,
so purple is
always first blue that we encounter. We haven't reached a purple for me yet.
Yeah.
Dry Ice is a blue for me.
Fuck. All right.
So, but so
you're much more liberal with your blues and purples.
That's true. Well, not purples, because
probably not. Yeah.
But I think in general, I do rank higher than at least all of you guys as well, because I also know that when we would rank the same way, like Spencer and I ranked a lot of the same stuff, or we started the Beatles together, and then or Kanye and stuff like that. And I've always definitely been the most liberal rater, so I would give the highest ratings and be the easiest on bands and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, but just to give the audience perspective on what purples are like, we all average about maybe 5 purples, 5, 6 purples.
I think it's all 4 maybe.
For the whole for a band's whole discography is each person has around 5.
Mm-hmm.
I might be the most conservative then with that. Green Day's the only one that I have more than 3.
Yeah, all right. I guess it's harder when there's more.
And then also I have the least amount of artists ranked probably.
Yeah, so. And I think a lot of the artists you've ranked have also not had as big a discography as Green Day, where a lot of stuff I have as big a discography as Green Day.
There's Weezer, there's Blink, there's Angels and Airwaves, there's the Beatles. Those are
Who started Queen? Somebody started Queen.
I did some of Queen.
Yeah, Chris did some of Queen. I know. I've done a couple albums, but because I started doing a thing where I was just I'll just do greatest albums, not whole discographies of bands. So I did some Queen albums. But so my Kerplunk.
So yeah, I have Kerplunk and the Good.
All right.
I'm done now.
Oh yeah, we never cut the cord on that one.
So I think Kerplunk involves my biggest Green Day hot take, which is not only is it my second favorite album from them, and not only do I like it more than Dookie, I honestly just personally think that it is better than Dookie. And my main reason for that is it might not sound as good as just crisp as Dookie. You also have to think about who they were working with at that point as well. Yeah. But I appreciate the storytelling in Kerplunk a whole lot more, because to put it in very simple sentences, Dookie is a lot about whiny teenage stuff, and I think I usually say it as Dookie is all about complaining about the world. Kerplunk is all about being scared shitless of the world. Yeah. And I just love that Kerplunk is kind of it just reminds me of the Tiny Rick episode where in Rick and Morty, where he's where he actually is tiny and is kind of let me out. This actually, now that I'm saying it, is not the same at all. But when I envision Tiny Rick, I just think of I'm scared of the world around me kind of thing. But so a lot of Green Day stuff is kind of hidden messages of just, or a lot of stuff in Kerplunk is a lot of hidden messages of I'm completely terrified of the world. And no better is that done, in my opinion, on Android. The whole thing is about he sees a homeless guy and he sees a homeless guy on the street and he's like, I wonder if he knows how crazy the world thinks he is. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like, how crazy is he really? It's just kind of like this shit just kind of happened to him. What's to say that doesn't happen to me? Fuck, if that happened to me, like, what am I gonna do? And then it just like spirals more and more to the point where we also go back to the change-ups they do. They just do a change-up in this that's literally they just like flush a toilet.
Yeah.
And I like to think of it as just like we're flushing that idea away, and now we're just kind of floating downstream and just kind of accepting that the world is just going to kind of throw us through some loops sometimes, and that like it doesn't make any sense to be afraid about it. And I really like that it happened so late in the album, because most of the songs beforehand are all about like being scared of the world. Mm-hmm. And I kind of see Android as that moment, the flushing the toilet, as like all right, we're changing our way of thinking a little bit. Because with No One Knows and Who Wrote Holden Caulfield and Words I Might Have Ate, they're all very like, what is it, like perspective, like viewed. They're just like they're thinking back on things.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very retrospective and self-observant, observant. Yeah. And so yeah, I really like that. Like Android kind of seems like the change in the band. So that's kind of like that's like maybe my fourth favorite song by them. I really like that one a lot. I also just love that I feel like they show off Trey amazingly in this album, because this is the first album where Trey's the drummer. In One for the Razorbacks, it just starts off, a couple of these songs just start off with really cool little things. Like Android started off with the guitars like, and that's not something you can really replicate. That's just kind of something they just like fucked around with and was just like getting the guitar ready and everything. Mm-hmm. And then Trey comes in with like, and then One for the Razorbacks, they do a little hi-hat thing in the beginning where while they're doing another like cool little like hard to replicate riff, Trey's just in the back on the hi-hat like, and it's really cool. So those are probably my two favorite.
Damn.
And so
something that I just realized when you were talking about the toilet flush in Android, how that's like the turning point of the album. In a way, that toilet flush is sort of name dropping the album, Kerplunk. I never thought of that.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, that's true.
So it is almost like the album itself is Kerplunk. Like, here's all the shit in the world that I am scared of. Flush it down.
And I also really love that that they keep this kind of playful tone while being serious at times too.
Yeah, and that's a common theme with Green Day. Is you are listening to songs, you're like, yeah, and then when you listen to lyrics, you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people like don't give them credit for, is that they're this very just like a 3-chord kind of band. Yeah. But especially their lyricism, Billy Joe's like amazing at that and is very intelligent. And
so I assume this all means that you're putting Kerplunk in bad?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with that one. If there was like a great or amazing one, I would put it there. And I understand that
I want to rank them with the colors now.
I understand that having Kerplunk second is very much a hot take. And it is a lot more of like because I loved the idea of what this album represented, it made me love it more. And then I went back to the songs and went like, oh, I like this more and more now because of this.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting how our favorites, why we like something the most. Like you love Kerplunk the most. All of us in Deep Sheep are like high up their hot take one. We all of us love American Idiot the most, obviously, but then like when it comes to second or third, we always have one that's a little different, and we always have different reasons for that. And it's interesting, those different reasons. Like I feel like a lot of your reasoning for why you like something usually has to do with the meaning behind it. And for some reason, my brain never goes there, at least when I first listen to something. My brain is always just simply, if it's catchy and stuck in my head, I like it. And like obviously I can like point at something and be like, objectively this isn't good, but I just can't get it out of my head and I like it. And that's the shitty thing about like dumb pop songs. Like they're the easiest to get stuck in your head, even though you know they're not good. But it's like, fuck, I can't help but want to listen to it. Mm-hmm. So it's like interesting where like I've been trying to kind of dig deeper into more of the meaning of the songs and why they did a certain thing, and then I gain more respect for it. But in the end, unfortunately, like what really does decide why I like something is usually just if I like listening to it.
I mean, that I think music also comes down to a lot of that too. Is one not only taste, but just like if the music's good. Like, I mean, if you have good lyricism, then sure you could be a poet or whatever, but you still have to make good, catchy music.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna go turn this fan off. Right
where do you fall on that, Robby?
Where do I fall on like my criteria?
Just like, yeah, why do you like
music?
certain things, especially from Green Day? Would you pay attention to lyricism versus just catchiness?
I feel like I'm somewhere in between the two of you because Camden is so hard into like looking into the meaning behind the lyrics and the reasoning behind
What was that movie with the black guy cop who's going?
Did you see me run?
That was Get Out.
No, I think you're thinking of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Well, there is that, but then it was an anime movie. Was it?
Cloudy with a Chance.
I think Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
The guy's like,
yeah.
He's like super pumped. That scene was fucking awesome though. He's like carrying his, I think there's a different thing, but there's also a scene where he's like carrying his family on like a mattress while like food is like chasing him, and he's like saving them. Great
topic for a Green Day podcast.
Meatballs.
But yes, continue. Like I was saying, I think I'm in between the two of you when it comes to criteria per se on what we're judging these albums off of. I think the catchiness or the I need to like the tune initially to get me to look further into the song, and it sort of meshes the two of your aspects on music in general. Because if I can hear the lyrics first when I'm first listening to it, and I like the lyrics alone, then yeah, I'll like the song based off of that. If the lyrics are just that good, like there's a lot of songs later down the line when we get to the latter half of their discography, that I purely love for the lyrics and the story behind it, but the tune could do some work. There's different aspects to making a solid song and a great album, and I think taking both sides of it into matter would be the best way to go about it.
Yeah, my dumb brain, every time I listen to a song for the first 3 times minimum, I just don't hear the lyrics. I don't know why. I can never understand what a singer is singing. I thought it was a Billy Joe thing, and I've heard a lot of people have that opinion where like they just don't know what the fuck he's saying. I get it with every single
Especially with the early stuff.
Well, yeah, especially with the early stuff. Like even rap. Half of the time when I listen to a rap song, I just can't. My brain doesn't comprehend the words. I'm not.
They're also hard because they do it so fast.
Yeah, some of the best rap that's out there is the more emotional, deeper tones with it because they make an emphasis on the words rather than the beats going aside. Because a big part of rap albums is the beats to go with it. That it builds a character to those songs. And that's the part with it that, everybody loves. Everybody loves a good beat to a good rap song. But the lyricism is truly beautiful for a lot of like Kendrick Lamar, Childish Gambino. Like they have some solid words going into an even better track. So I think, like we just had this whole discussion about horror, but like every genre has its own pros and cons. But I actually I just found my document from years ago. The last edit that I made was on September 11th, 2017.
Whoa. Wow. Okay. All right. That was a good day for you, apparently.
Yeah. Jesus. Okay.
So a lot of these that I might say for color-wise or ranking-wise might be very different. Now, I haven't looked into it. This is literally very the first time I'm looking at this in over 3 years. But moving forward, because obviously Camden puts that in good. So far we have Kerplunk in good and 1039 in ugly. On to arguably one of, if not the most famous album they're known for, Dookie.
It's tough for me to say if it's American Idiot or Dookie that's more famous. It depends on the generation.
Yeah, I think purely because of that generational split, I'd have to say Dookie because a lot of our generation just doesn't look at Green Day the same way we do.
There's a lot of people that are just like fucking when they got to like when they got to like Nimrod, that's kind of when they fell off. Like Dookie and Insomniac, that's just like hardcore punk, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like,
so
it's like, what the fuck?
All right,
I'm the only one in the three of us that have our documents. I'm the only one that has a purple in this.
Yeah, I think it's fair for me to go first, I guess.
Yeah, you just shit on it.
Yeah,
I shit on Dookie.
I also want to point out one more thing about Kerplunk that I'll never get over is because my generation, one of like the greatest Who songs, like one of the beauties of that song is that he goes, "Why don't you all fade away?" He doesn't say the F word. Okay, he doesn't stoop to that level. You know what fucking Green Day does? They stoop to that level twice, I'm pretty sure, as well. So fuck them. I'll never forgive them for that. Dookie's pretty good. I like to.
Wait, actually, is Dookie the first time they say fuck in their discography?
Well, my generation, they say it.
All right. Do we count that though?
Dookie's pretty good. So I know I just shat on shit, but I don't think it's like a bad album. I do think it's one of their better albums. I definitely have liked it less just because of how much people like it, but I would still rank it like fifth or so in their whole discography or something. But they still have just absolute classics in there. I just get the feeling, which I feel like a lot of people say about Kerplunk, is that they all blend together for me. I feel like because they had a crisper sound, they kind of made it so that like, all right, well, this sound will just be the whole album. Whereas I feel like there was a lot more individualism in Kerplunk. But the only thing is that like the one sound they have in Dookie is just pretty amazing. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of stuff about just fuck me, like a lot of there's still a lot of like scared stuff too, like Welcome to Paradise is about like living on your own and stuff, although that was also first in Kerplunk, so what are you gonna do? But there's a lot of stuff. I feel like they got back to their roots in terms of like love songs and did it really well, because I like She's maybe my favorite in this one. Same with When I Come Around, and I mean there's some just like classic stuff in here that you just like you can't get over this certain part. Like the beginning of Longview is just like, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah. Oh shit.
And I think one of Billy's just like most vulnerable and like just open topics is Coming Clean. And even though it's like
all the shit I wanted to talk about, but keep going.
Even though it's only a minute and a half, just showing the vulnerability he had at a pretty early age too. I just really like that. So I'll let other people talk so I don't fucking say everything.
All right, so I really enjoyed Dookie. Dookie is an album that over time I've enjoyed more and more. Actually, good. I started out. Here you go. I started out feeling like the album was overrated for a while. I remember back in the day, you and Spencer, you guys had it as like your favorite or second favorite, and I was like, really? I don't know. Like I loved She from the beginning, and Basket Case I had obviously heard. When I Come Around I'd obviously heard, but then I found my favorites like Burnout. I fucking love Burnout. I love the start of the album with that one, and Coming Clean, I fucking love that song as well. That song does not feel like a minute and a half. That's the weird thing with this album. A lot of the songs are fucking short, but they don't feel that short. You know, like
She's a Rebel. Barely over 2 minutes.
Yeah, you get to She's a Rebel on American Idiot, and you're like, that song was fucking over like that. But half of the songs on this album are shorter than that one, and they don't feel like it. You know, something that I sort of was thinking about to go against your argument that Kerplunk has a deeper meaning because it's about how terrified of the world you are, and then Dookie is just fuck it, I don't care anymore. Something that I've kind of always looked at it as is they make sense because you have Kerplunk of, oh God, I'm fucking scared, I'm fucking terrified, which is something that I relate to all the time because I'm always constantly overthinking everything, constantly worried about things. So in a way, I can almost say that Kerplunk is Anxiety, the album. Dookie is Depression, the album. Because what comes naturally after all of this fear and all this terror that you have over something going wrong is eventually you get tired of it and you go, I don't care anymore. I don't care. Fuck it. I've accepted the world is fucked up. I've accepted that I'm never going to get where I want to. And that's Dookie. Now I don't know if that's what Billy intended, obviously, but that's something that I get out of it. So I don't necessarily think that Dookie's meaning is not as powerful as Kerplunk's. I definitely agree with you, though, that generally when I listen to the albums, I feel like Kerplunk has a more creative sound, more variety, and just it because Dookie in a way feels like Kerplunk just with better production. So that's just where something like Kerplunk I just like appreciate a little more. But if I'm gonna listen to an album, Dookie's where it's at because Dookie's got 3 blues for me, which would be Burnout, She, and Coming Clean. And also Dookie doesn't have. I mean, it technically does with All By Myself, but that's the final song, so I can just fucking not listen to it. But it doesn't have a little BS song in the middle that I skip over because every song on Dookie I will listen to. So Dookie's great. I think it's a little overrated, but overall, I really like the album. It's always an easy one that I can just sit down and listen to straight through.
So you're putting that one in the good.
I'm going to put it in good, I would say. And in color-wise, I would rank it as cyan overall.
Good, sir.
Oh, Lord. Okay, so for me, I kind of do agree that it is slightly overrated. Although I do like the reason why. So my purple is Basket Case. I'm a basic bitch.
I
thought it would be She.
No,
She, I remember
When I Come Around and Coming Clean are all blues. But Basket Case right now is a purple, and I think even when I update this, because I'm gonna after we get off here, I'm gonna keep updating this. I'm gonna bring it back up to where I'm supposed to. Yeah, anywho, it's just such an anthem. It is an anthem for a generation. Similar to like what Smells Like Teen Spirit did for Nirvana. Basket Case just skyrocketed Green Day to the forefront in mainstream, and it just did so well. It's honestly like probably I would say Basket Case is their most famous song. When it comes to Time of Your Life, maybe might be more, but I don't know, man.
I would say
maybe
Time
like
of Your Life.
American Idiot.
Time of Your Life is their most famous song. But Basket Case, I could agree, is the most famous Green Day song.
Yeah, because I don't when I think of like Time of Your Life, I don't think many people consider that as a Green Day song. Yeah. But man, this whole album, it's a lot of fun. I have 2 songs that are yellows that I'm not too keen on. That's Pulling Teeth.
I want to guess your yellows. All right, here we go. Okay, so my guess, I'm gonna guess Chump.
Are we going to think that you didn't hear the first part?
I didn't hear it at all.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yellows. I was
what'd you say?
I don't give a shit. All right, Chump. I'm guessing that's a yellow.
Nope.
Just say it. Okay.
But Pulling Teeth and I'm in a Sleepers.
What's the first one?
Amenius, I think is what it is.
Okay, so it's the 2 songs that like are the hardest to remember. Wait,
yeah. All right.
The Sleepers starts at
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
In the End is my hot take. No one talks about In the End. I like In the End because the drumming is like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like offbeat drumming.
Yeah, they do it on a half beat. Is that what they call it? You tell us, Robby.
Music guy, do it.
They do it on the offbeat. The offbeat.
I knew it, sort of. I said it.
Yeah.
Morty.
So the drumming in that one is most interesting because Trey takes that offbeat and makes it he characterizes it in a way that the lyrics sort of match up with it, different than in other songs because Trey that is like a thing that Trey does a lot.
Yeah,
he does the offbeat drumming a lot, but In the End takes that and makes it its own thing and makes it a part of the song and makes it unique.
Yeah, that's the song for me that stands out the most. Where I was like, the drumming is different.
Well, yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead.
Their only Oh wait, no, never mind. Amelia Sleep is the one I was thinking of that has a drum solo. So never mind.
I'm gonna
What
go
the
and put
fuck you talking
Dookie
about?
in the good because I
There we
think
go.
that anywhere else would be wrong.
I also want to talk
Wise, where
about.
we at?
Huh?
Ranking wise, album wise.
Oh God.
Green, cyan, blue, yellow, red.
Cyan. It's not a blue. It's not a blue.
Cyan, all right, yeah.
Cyan.
I guess I'd say the same. I want to talk about Pulling Teeth. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm a big old dummy or if Pulling Teeth is actually amazing and like I am just one of the only people to realize it. I love how, because I didn't know this before. I remember like when I first heard it, I thought it was like a love song, and I didn't realize that like no, it's about like this girl that is like abusing him.
Yep.
I love the way they just space their words in this song. I need to find stuff where he says it, because he'll say stuff like after all, she's the one who put me in this state. And so the idea, they have a lot of stuff where they say, after all, she's the one. Just that's it. Then you think like, yeah, she's the one. That's just like a love song. They do that with a couple of other stuff. Just I better tell her that I love her. And then they space it before she does it all over again. And then so it's just like they space it out in a way where it's like it's this sweet part. But it's also like the next line is she's abusing him, which is actually genius because that's also how people in like abusive relationships would think too.
Yeah, it's really cool because every other line is something that's like questioning whether or not he should be there. Like, and it even reflects that in the rhythm of it. Is she ultra violent? Is she disturbed? I better tell her that I love her. Like, at that point, he's like, do I love her? Yes, I love her. I love her.
It's kind of funny. Those lyrics sound like he's talking about, is she ultraviolet? Is she disturbed? I better tell her that. So it's like, you're going to tell her that she's ultraviolet and disturbed, that I love her. All right, you're not going to fucking say shit. That's interesting. That's kind of cool because I like knew that, but I forgot. Like because again, I'm just dumb. But like, you got a song about coming clean, which punk rock in the mid 90s. That's a hot take right there. It's like, oh shit, wait, coming clean. Whoa, you're not just straight. Okay. And then you got a song about being abused by a girl. some hot topics you're talking about there, Billy. Not many people talk about.
Also, musically, I just love Chump because the end and the build up. I just really love the build up in Chump. But
it's gonna be a long podcast, Robbie.
It's gonna be a long podcast. This might be the first two-parter.
Camden on, and it was like
this might be the first two-parter.
So fucking much.
Honestly, man, this might be the first two-parter. I don't know, but I
don't want to
just think they're gonna want to listen to like a 2.5 hour long podcast.
I don't want to just point out like my basic opinions. I want to be like, well, there's actually this song.
No. Don't by no means. Keep doing it. Keep doing that. I love it. I'm just saying lengthwise.
I'm printing shit right now that you're talking about, and I'm like, I thought I knew everything.
No, like keep it going. I'm just saying this might be the first two-parter that we upload in Late Night Deep Sheep.
Yeah, whatever. Maybe we'll call it the early years. I really need to pee. I'm gonna go.
All right, I guess. Well, we'll talk about Chump because he doesn't like that one as much as me.
Sounds good.
But it's also funny because Chump has like almost the same opening as 2,000 Light Years Away. Wait. Yeah. Because wait, how does Chump go? It's like and then 2,000 Light Years Away is like or I might have mixed those up. It might be the other way around. But okay. But yeah, that it's just like, oh, that's like the same beginning. And I just love like Chump kind of. I remember when I first showed Chris Chump. And then I remember like the whole time he doesn't say Chump until the very end of like the lyrics part. And he goes, I'm a chump. And I remember like right before that happened, Chris was like, is he going to say Chump in this song? And immediately Billy was like, I'm a chump. And he's like, okay. And then after that, it's just like a slow build to like this epic ending. And I love the guitar in the end because it just like raises up. It's like, it's really cool.
Oh yeah. Do we want to move on over to Insomniac?
Yeah, sure. Let's do her.
I think I should.
This right?
What?
You relate to this album?
Connor's a big fan of this one.
It's Insomniac. I was making a joke. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh. I was going to say I'm not a big fan because I should go first.
Yeah, you can go first. We'll point out that like Connor loves this one. This is
Connor loves this one?
Yeah, this is kind of like Connor's Kerplunk for me.
I think we all have our own Kerplunk. I think, Chris, what would you say is yours?
I want to save it. Well, fuck, we might not even get to it. Mine's Revolution Radio.
Yeah.
I think I love Revolution Radio, but I think my Kerplunkin per se of like where it's ranked for me, it might be 21st Century Breakdown because I have it as like number 2/number 3.
Damn.
Revolution Radio and 21st Century Breakdown always like flip flop for me when it comes to that. But Insomniac and bitch, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to all of their discography.
Yeah,
it's just gonna be on the
stop.
cutting room floor. Like we're gonna cut it in half and then we're gonna call it good. Insomniac. Not too keen on this one, and I think it's simply because it really just lives off of Brain Stew for me. Brain Stew, Panic Song, and Geek Sync Breath. But Brain Stew by far is the best one on the album for me. The rest is kind of the same music-wise. I feel like it's really just a shade of they made this the same year as Dookie. And
this came out in 95.
Came out a year later, but yeah, it was like, oh shit, they kind of rushed this.
Yeah, you can kind of tell that it's produced the same way, but it's written the same like different lyrics, but it sound like it's kind of a tonal whiplash in my opinion. It doesn't really line up for me.
Tonal?
Yeah.
In what way?
I think the direction of the tone is very, very severed. In parts of the album. Parts of the album wants to go one way with it, parts of it wants to go the other, to where before with Kerplunk and Dookie, they were both very forward with the tone that they wanted to give the audience.
Can you elaborate on that?
I think with songs like Geek Sync Breath and Panic Song and Brain Stew and kind of Jaded, because Brain Stew and Jaded, it gives me this like I'm going insane type of vibe. And it would make sense chronologically, you know, with Kerplunk and Dookie and now Insomniac with what we've talked about, the tone and like the underlying meaning behind it, anxiety and depression, and now insanity with Insomniac. But I don't get that with like No Pride or 86 or Stewart in the Ave. Like if you're going to go for that insanity vibe and I'm like losing my mind, which I think would be really cool. And it would make sense for an album that, you know, it would kind of make sense for the story too. Like you guys just signed us on and you want us to make another album already? All right, you're driving us nuts. But part of them is just like, it just feels like going back to old classics in a different way. Like they didn't pull any new song to my knowledge. Like, yeah, they didn't pull any songs from before like they did with Welcome to Paradise.
Nope.
With Dookie.
That's the only time they ever do that.
Yeah. But it just felt like they were just pulling back in the back of their arsenal because they were rushed for this album. I feel like if they gave this another year, it would be phenomenal.
Okay. All right.
I think at the end of the day, I'm not going to put in the bad. I think I'm going to put this in the ugly.
Gotcha.
Because it's the only album so far that hasn't, well, aside from 1039, that has only gotten greens for me.
Okay. Oh, and
I don't have
higher.
I don't have one cyan, one blue, one purple, none.
So that's how I felt for a pretty long time. Then for some reason one day, and everyone loves this song, and all of a sudden I just woke up and I was like, holy shit, everyone's right. Stuck with me. Got stuck with me. Because that's my blue on the album. Without that, I would kind of agree. I'd be like, I don't have any yellows on this album. Almost the whole album is greens. I have Stewart in the Avenue as cyan and Stuck With Me as blue. That's it. But Stuck With Me just
fucking... For me, real quick before you move on, for me, Jaded is yellow, but that's just because they split it in half. Here's the thing. I
like Jaded.
That's my favorite half.
I like it. But the thing is, if it was Brain Stew and Jaded in one as Brain Stew, then it would still make sense because it would line up with their, usual one song being like starting one way and ending another. And it would I feel like Jaded by itself, I can't really listen to it. I have to listen to Brain Stew and then Jaded.
That's interesting because that's other than American Idiot has a ton of those. But for me, like Brain Stew's the famous one, obviously, and Brain Stew to me is kind of boring. But I honestly, the only reason that songs are green for me is just I fucking relate to the meaning of the song. I can't tell you how many fucking times I've found myself just not able to fall asleep. But Jaded is fun. I really.
Yeah, I really like it.
Camden burped.
I was just surprised. I thought I was thrown up, and then I didn't. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
But to sort of continue the story that I'm sort of recognizing right now, if you go from I'm scared of the world to accepting that the world's just fucked up and you can't do anything about it, Insomniac's the continuation of that of, well, what happens when you've accepted the world doesn't matter? You fuck up yourself. Because this album, it has a bunch of that where it's like, I'm going crazy. I'm also just going down a dark path. Geek Stink Breath is the biggest example of that, where it's like, I know I'm fucking myself up, and for some reason, I'm not doing anything about it. And I think that's part of the reason why it ends with Walking Contradiction, where it's like, I understand that I'm doing wrong, and I know I should fix it, but I just can't for some reason. Another thing is this album was really big on just post-fame. It's the first time where they were actually huge, and so you have songs like 86 and there's another one. Which one is it?
You mean where it's just kind of like chorus verse?
No, where because 86 is about they can't perform where they used to anymore. Where it's like their old fans don't like that they're big.
Is that Tightwad Hill? The only one you're looking for? Or?
Maybe. I don't know the meanings of some of them. I just know 86 is the big one. Where every time I listen to 86, I recognize that it's like shit. That's the one where like fuck.
I can't remember if it's Tightwad Hill or Westbound Sign, but it's also got the same vibe of it's looking back on where they used to perform. And
it's also it's an album where it's like they feel like they're on the road. They're moving on in a way, and it's like they're not really sure where they're headed and they're scared. But so I think that at least can be a reason why the album is a little disjointed with its tone, why it keeps shifting all over the place, because that is what happens when you are going crazy and you don't know what's happening. When you're going crazy, you can't even stay focused on the fact that you're crazy. Sometimes things all of a sudden make sense for some reason. Or also it's just they didn't really have a plan. Because, I mean, like 1039 doesn't count because it's a compilation album, but Kerplunk and Dookie very clearly have like a sort of like, oh, this is how the album starts. Okay, we're heading here. And it kind of has like a cool button hook at the end. Insomniac for me doesn't exactly have that. It kind of feels more like a collection of songs together. So
yeah.
But Insomniac, I would still put it in the good. It's a green album for me overall. I think it definitely falls in the trap of kind of just sounding like Dookie but angrier. Would have been nice for them to have a little bit more variety to it. But overall, nothing to really dislike about it. So it's just good.
Yeah, I agree. I do like the story. I do kind of like this trilogy that's like kind of just a really sad trilogy that like it starts out with like, I'm scared of the world. What the hell am I going to do? Well, the world sucks. So it's like, whatever. I don't give a shit about anything. And then it just ends kind of with like, I'm going to fuck myself up.
Which ironically is what pays off Android, because Android is, oh God, what if I become like that? Insomniac screams, you're becoming like that, dude.
Yeah, that is really cool. But Insomniac to me just has a few where I'm just like, man, I don't give a shit at all about some of these songs. But there are some that I think they display their talents really well. And I think they display their cynical and nihilistic, like deep writing very well too. Just like Panic Song, after just the buildup of 2 minutes, and then it comes in, he's like, broken glass inside my head, bleeding down these thoughts of anguish. And it's like, that's pretty dark, Billy, but that was pretty cool. I got to give you that one.
That was pretty cool.
But they have a lot of stuff like that. And I'm the same way with Chris. I like Jaded more than Brain Stew now, honestly. And I think Jaded is a good title for this album as well. Yeah. Just like, I feel like they are just jaded now. That's the perfect description of them. And it's funny because Dookie is very fun, and this is just a lot more like we're depressed kind of thing. It's just like, yeah, a lot of stuff is just kind of sucks.
It sounds angry.
Yeah, but I'll also agree that Stuck With Me is my favorite on the album too. And it's funny because I think that's one of the at least two that I'm thinking of where I really liked it and then like Chris was kind of all of a sudden like, yeah, I really like this one too, and so that was cool that now we share that is something we
It's
share.
something we share. We'll get to the other one, which is an even bigger example of
I think that's a great little cliffhanger there, because I think the better way to do it is to cut off the recording here and then do another part.
How we're an hour in.
There's no
like
way. We gotta go an hour and a half.
No, we are going to finish this. I'm saying
I think we end that warning and then we begin the real second era of Green Day, which is American Idiot.
Yeah, we should do 2 more. Because,
2 more. Because
that'll also cap off the first half of the discography.
Yeah.
I mean, all right.
We got to get it. This is only an hour. Fucking all of our podcasts have been longer than an hour lately.
So I don't know where to put it, honestly.
Really? You would put it in good?
It's an ugly kind of good. I think I would do good.
I'm fine with putting in good if you guys are, because I only really put in.
Is this something we're collectively doing, or is this
we must collectively?
Well, I think we could. I think that'd be.
No.
I mean, I agree. It's more of an ugly kind of good. Yeah, it's a lower end on the good scale.
Yeah, it's hard. It's just hard to be like.
I do agree that it's. I do agree
good
that it's a Green album overall.
if there's good stuff in it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing necessarily bad about it, really. It's just like
it's not bad at all by any means.
I have definitely disliked like the famous ones over the years. Like I definitely dislike Brain Stew a lot more than I did, and Geek Stink Breath. I want to give Connor a shout out because Westbound Sign, which is like his favorite off the album, is in the Cars 3 trailer.
Yep, he came
which is
out
so
of
weird.
He came out of nowhere. Or it's Cars 1.
Is it Cars 1?
Cars 3.
It's Cars 1 for some reason.
What the fuck? That's so weird. I mean, to be fair, it'd be even weirder if it was Cars 3, because Cars 3 came out, like 3 years ago?
2 for 2 on this, Camden?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just typed in Cars 3 as if that would give me what I wanted.
Cars 3, and it just says Westbound Sign. Yeah, because it was the like OG Cars trailer before like
wow. Your mic did the thing. Wow, yeah. Today I learned Westbound Sign was used in the 2005 teaser trailer for Cars.
Fuck my fucking ass. I'm gonna kill myself. Whatever.
Anywho. Moving forward.
I'll put Insomniac in the bad then.
That's the funny thing, because I remember Connor came out of nowhere. It's just like, guys, I just really fucking love Westbound Sign. I love it. All of us went, what? Westbound Sign? What? He's like, yeah, it's a purple. What?
That's the craziest thing to me.
It one has gone. It one. Fucking goddamn. I should die. But
yeah.
That one has gone up for me. I do like that one. It's in the top half. It's in the top half for me.
I like it. I like it. I don't know if it's in the top half necessarily, but it's certainly green. It's not yellow.
In my top half? Let me look real quick. It might be in my top half or like barely. Let me fucking look real fucking quick.
While you're looking,
it is. Top half. Yep, it's my
cool.
fifth favorite.
Cool.
While you're looking, let's end.
Let's move it right on. Right on over to Nimrod.
So the story, honestly, Nimrod is where it shifts, because Insomniac, the night is darkest just before the dawn. And Insomniac was, I fucking am falling apart. I have brought myself on this dark path. Nimrod is, let's clean up a bit, Billy.
So I think I should.
A lot of hateful people started disliking Green Day at this point.
And that pisses me off, because a lot of artists. Sorry, you go.
Fucking I'm pretty sure I should start, because looking at our documents, mine isn't updated, of course, but looking at our documents, I'm the only one that has both a purple and a red, and only 2 blues, compared to
that's the fun thing about this album.
5.
It's a variety.
I think Chris can definitely go last in this one.
Yeah. So for me, there's a lot of challenges when it comes to listening to this one. Not that it's inherently bad, because it's not. In general, I can understand and recognize that I do have a bias when it comes to it, but it's my favorite album. Fuck off. Or my favorite album. My favorite band. Fuck off. There's a lot of songs on here that I hear get a lot of love. like Platypus I Hate You and Scattered. And
I hate you.
I hear a lot of people. I don't know if it's as much now because I haven't really like been in touch with the Green Day community, but I remember a lot of people recognizing Platypus I Hate You as one of their favorites of the album, and just in general, I just don't know.
I would agree with you.
Yeah, it's I agree.
Last Ride In and Take Back are just Last Ride In's a hard orange. I really don't like it, and Take Back is just why what are you doing here? Well, Last Ride In is borderline a fucking red because it's nearly 4 minutes of fucking acoustic instrumentals, and I hate it. Just why? Like, there's
the elevator music.
Did they have to meet a quota of 18 songs? Because you could totally just fucking rip those two out.
I mean, yeah, that's a weird thing. This was their longest album to date by far, if you don't include the compilation. It's just like, guys, there's a good amount of fat in here. You could
there's
cut.
So much. Like, really, if you cut out Scattered all the time, Platypus I Hate You, Jinx, Reject, and the two fucking worst, Last Ride In and Take Back, great album. Fucking great album. No doubt about it. I love Uptight. I love King for a Day. To an extent, I love Redundant. Hitchin' a Ride is fun. Nothing can top Time of Your Life for sure. Like, that's the best off the album, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, because it has My First Orange and My First Red, there's no question about it. It's going in ugly. And it might even stick it as a yellow album.
Dang.
Fuck.
That's crazy, yo.
I'm just genuinely so upset as to why there's so much fat on this album that didn't get cut.
Wow.
There definitely is a lot of fat. I've definitely
because of the fat. Last point.
Yeah.
Because of there being so much fat, I revisit this album 0 times. I have not listened to it all the way through since I first listened to it all the way through years ago.
Damn,
I pick out my songs. I pick out my songs and I go back to it, but I have not listened to it front to back, like in years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's been at least 4 years.
Dang. Yeah. So I definitely agree that there's a lot of fat. The fat though, at least personally to me, the fat in Nimrod I think is better than the fat in Insomniac. Because Dookie and Kerplunk follow this kind of thing where it's like, it doesn't feel like kind of just a collection of a theme. It does feel like there's a story throughout the whole thing. Whereas Insomniac was kind of a collection of a theme, and Nimrod is kind of just a collection of songs. Because there could be an underlying theme of like just change and growth as a person and stuff in general. But I've definitely. Last Ride In used to be my least favorite, and I just would like get mad about like, what the fuck, it's whatever. And I think I've cooled down on it a little bit just because it's like, I guess technically it's not like horrible. It is just kind of just dumb and just elevator music. It's just like, I guess that's done well for elevator music, but Take Back I definitely think is just like absolutely horrible. And just a direction, I guess this is kind of an experimental stage, and they experimented in like one of the worst genres, Don't At Me, with just like hardcore metal rock. But a lot of the stuff on here though is like, if we didn't have this, we wouldn't have a lot of stuff. I like Scattered a good amount. Reject is one of the low ones on this album for me, but we wouldn't have the All American Rejects without it. And it's crazy to be like, that song stuck out to you. What? Okay, I guess.
Connor, you gonna name your band Westbound Sign now? What?
But there's a lot of cool experimental stuff they did. Where with Walking Alone with the harmonica, I really like that one. I love how cynical the Grouch is, because the thing about Insomniac is kind of just like, here's the song about this sad life, and it's just like, you know, the Grouch is like, the Grouch is back to like Dookie-esque fun.
Yeah.
And I really like the Grouch, and Hitching a Ride, I really like just the strings in that one is really cool. And King for a Day, I love King for a Day and just how flamboyant it is, and I love the lyrics in it. My two favorite though, Time of Your Life, I feel like I don't need to talk much about that. That's always gonna be like my favorite off the album, and
Platypus, I Hate You.
And Platypus, I Hate You, guys.
More like Platypus, I Love You.
Now, what we're talking, but so Redundant is the other one that's I don't know why I don't have this as a purple, but it is. The Purple and Time of Your Life are both. Wait, Redundant Redundant and Time of Your Life are both purples. Redundant will always hold a very special place in my heart. A lot of my favorites of artists are ones that are very self-observant and retrospective, and especially when it comes to just like not only relationships, but like who you were as a person in that relationship. Because I can think back and be like, I didn't like the kind of person I was in my certain relationships and everything. And like my favorite Kanye song is Runaway. And to those who know Runaway, it's a very like, because Kanye's a very just like, or everyone thought of him as a very just like egotistical asshole kind of person. And Runaway was kind of like, I know, guys. I'm not telling you you should be with me. You should run away. And Redundant is very retrospective in the sense of like they see the relationship after the fact, and he kind of sees it as like, man, we just kind of went through the motions and only stuck together because it was easy, and we just figured why change anything. And so the repetition in this song and just like the music video in it, how it's just like something like a scene that replays over and over. I think that every element of this song just like always really gets to me. I would definitely put it in good. I definitely understand the ugly of like there's a lot of songs on here that are filler and throwaway, but I always like more experimental than just kind of like collection of a theme, because like Insomniac, I'm just like, well, there's just songs that are just obviously better. In Dookie and Kerplunk, you could be like, well, this song is like, you might say this song's better, but it has like, this song has its purpose in this album. Whereas a lot of Insomniac, I'm just like, I just don't like No Pride or Back to Uvula Who, and like, what does it need to be here? No. At least with Nimrod, it's all very experimental, a lot of it. And then maybe some of them aren't really as much. And then like, that's also why they're fat. But I like the approach they took with this album in general. I'll put it in good.
All right, Nimrod. I'm probably the biggest fan of Nimrod amongst our group. Nimrod, is probably one of the ones that I have listened to the whole way through the most. I love listening to this album the whole way through. I completely agree. There is stuff that should have been cut. I definitely dislike Last Ride In and Take Back. They're not reds, they're oranges. Take Back used to be a red for me, but then I made an orange because it doesn't hurt my ears or make me cringe as much as some of the other songs I've made. And it's 1 minute and 9 seconds long. Done and done. All right, moving on. Last Ride In.
Wait. That means
What?
It means it's 69 seconds long.
Is this like the perfect song?
So Take Back is a purple.
Yeah. I never thought of that.
An experimental metal song, and it's 69 seconds. I hate it.
What are the lyrics? The lyrics
it
reflect
so
that
more.
in some way. Look up the lyrics while I'm talking. If somehow they reflect 69, that'll make me laugh. All right, yeah. Last Ride In. All right, like, again, 18 songs. Why do you need this? And my big problem is just it goes on way too fucking long. It naturally reaches a conclusion like 2.5 minutes in, and then just decides to pick it back up again for no fucking reason. It's like this was literally just what they would play while they were just like testing things out or just in the studio just kind of playing around. Like this wasn't even a fully written song that they did. Robby's looking at some lyrics that he has never seen before.
Yeah,
all I know they say in the song is something about like fucking kill you or whatever, and then to like Mrack.
This is crazy.
You looked it up too?
Yeah. I mean, the thing I can see that resembles 69 the most is the taste of bad blood on the tip of my tongue.
You pushed me once too far again. I'd like to break your fucking teeth. Stick a knife in the center of your back. You better grow some eyes in the back of your head. Hi-fi dirty, just like your looks. Can't take anymore. Take back. The taste of blood. Doesn't finish it.
Yeah, so
just take.
there's Cold Cocked. That's pretty 69.
Did he write
Cold
that
Cock.
song like fucking high off of his ass?
He
Like
had to have been.
That's just so ugly.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, Nimrod, I
That's one of the
still
worst
love
genres.
and respect
Don't
this
have it.
album because it is a turning point for the band. It's not a full-on huge shift, but it is them starting to shift finally because Insomniac, while tonal-wise still kind of follows a path, this is where things really change, where they're like, all right, we're going to switch up our sound. The first half of the album is a natural continuation. It sort of has a weird surfy, beachy vibe to it, the whole album as a whole. Sort of whatever tuning or whatever the fuck they were doing with their guitars, I don't know enough about music to explain it, technically.
Yeah.
But when I listen to it, I feel the vibe of beach summer stuff, which is fun. As well, over time, this album, I keep finding new ones that I really love. The Grouch is my most recent blue that just blew up for me, where I just fucking love it. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Nice Guys Finished Last has always been a blue for me. Uptight, always been my second favorite song of the album. I cannot believe that song is just straight up about suicide. You really don't realize it when you're listening to it because Green Day is just great at making a song that you don't realize is really fucked up and sad until you listen to the lyrics.
Yeah.
But in defense of Last Ride In, if there can be any defense for it in terms of story, you have a natural continuation of the first half of the album being just kind of around the same sound, a different sound. It's evolving, but it's a lot of the songs do kind of blend together a bit. And it very clearly shows the narrator is aware that things aren't working out, and he's hoping he can maybe make a change. And he sort of he falls apart by the end. He has this platypus I hate you moment where he's really fucking angry, and then finally, fuck it, I'm gonna end it all. Last Ride In, nice and peaceful, just instrumentals. He's not singing anymore. He's taking a step back and just thinking. Goes on too long, but then you start getting into newer stuff where now not only are they just kind of shifting genres and adding new shit every single song, you got a double song that's cool, then you got harmonica, Walking Alone, you got Reject, which is like then you got Take Back, which is like heavy metal, and then King for a Day is flamboyant and fun, and you got bands and stuff, and then you got an acoustic ballad of what the fuck. So everything's switching, and it almost, to me, that feels like the narrator is like, all right, I'm just gonna try new shit and try and find my way in a way. And then, of course, Time of Your Life, my second favorite song of all time. Fucking love Time of Your Life, which, by the way, it is called Time of Your Life. I swear to God, if I hear one fucking person tell me, it takes me called Good Riddance. Here's my argument against that. I don't give a fuck if the studio, whatever the fuck, always say Good Riddance, parentheses, Time of Your Life. He never says Good Riddance in the song. He says Time of Your Life many times. But also, the band themselves treat the song as Time of Your Life. When it was written in the form of Good Riddance. It is technically a breakup song that's saying, all right, good luck. I hope you have the time of your life. It's supposed to be sarcastic because it's like, fuck you, I hate you. Hey, have fun, bro, because I don't need you anymore, sort of thing. But the song is played at the end of every single concert they ever do. And it holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts, and it's played at every graduation ever. It's used as a song that's reflecting on the time that you've had. It is all about nostalgia. It's emotional, it's happy, it's sad, it's all of these things together. But in the end, it always is about remembering something. And sure, some of it may be bad, but in the end, you always will have it with you, and it'll always have a special place in your heart. And that's the way that the band treats the song. Why they always play it at the end of every concert, because in the end, they just hope you had the time of your life. And so that's why that song is called that, and also a reason why it holds a special place in my heart and holds it a special place in all of our hearts. This is the single Green Day song that all of us agree on. All of us have our different favorites. Time of Your Life, it's always there in like top 5, top 3 for all of us. It just is right there. And why it was also the song at the end of Deep Sheep season 2.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's amazing. It is, Mike Dirnt said it was the most punk thing they ever did, releasing that song. And to all the people that complained that, oh, the Green Day is doing pussy shit, they're not punk anymore. It's like, punk is about going against the norm. When all you do is just the same punk rock sound, are you really going against the norm? No. So that's where Time of Your Life is amazing, and why every band that I listen to always has their acoustic ballad, and we always refer to it as their Time of Your Life, because it's like,
Yeah.
that's what it is. And love
we
it.
we reference that the same way a lot of people are like, yeah, that's that person's Citizen Kane kind of thing.
Sort of.
It's just like the best of blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I wish the album ended with that. I wish Prosthetic Head was put somewhere.
Yeah.
I get Prosthetic Head's like an epilogue, and you've kind of explained to me why it does kind of fit. But
how about this? How about this? Instead of having all of the fat on the album, pluck out all the songs that don't really have a place in there, put it as extra tracks or like B-sides, and have the first B-side you listen to be Prosthetic Head, the epilogue.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Last Ride In does not deserve to be in a mainstay album. It screams B-side.
Yeah, I mean, that
Same
makes
thing
sense.
with Take Back.
Yeah, Nimrod, definitely in the good section for me. It's a cyan album for me overall. I really enjoy this album, and even the bad stuff, I still respect it for what it is.
Time of Your Life may just have my favorite like line that Green Day has written, and I think it's one that not a lot of people talk about. But he says, so make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question, but a lesson learned in time. And because the idea of like it's not a question is referring to don't ask why, and also just referring to a test, because the idea of just like this is a test and you're like, well shit, it's a test, I have to prepare for it then and everything. And it's kind of like, don't think about it, don't think too hard about it, just roll with it.
Yep.
And so I always really like that line.
Yeah. So Nimrod is a natural continuation of this sort of meta story that we've been really seeing with these albums, because by the end of Nimrod, he's realizing it. I was always spending all my time freaking out over things to the point where I stopped caring, and then I became the very thing I was scared of becoming. So now I need to make the change, which is what leads us to Warning, where things are changing.
Yeah.
Where we are warned.
Warning!
It's weird because I don't know who likes it the least out of all of us.
I think I do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah. Warning.
Yeah.
The thing about Warning is that it kind of, I feel like it's a mixture of Nimrod and Insomniac, in the sense that like it's a bit experimental and also has songs that kind of fit a theme, not as much a story. I don't think as much as Insomniac though, but there's someone here where it's just like, oh, this one. The thing is about Warning is that there's a lot of songs where I'm like, oh, I love this one little part and not like this whole song. Because I mean, like, I like Castaway a lot. Well, I like Castaway's riff a lot. Yeah. And I love the just like the vibe Misery has, but not, I don't like love the song. And then same with like Hold On I love the harmonica in Hold On. I don't really love Hold On that much, but Waiting is another purple of mine. It's in my top 5. I think it's my number 5 of theirs. So I think we've actually hit not my 1 and 2, but my 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hey yo.
Time of Your Life, Android, Waiting, redundant. But Waiting, I always really loved, and I loved the lyrics in it. And it's funny because it is kind of just like a chorus, verse, doesn't really ever build up or anything. It kind of builds up in the sense where like there's a part where it like goes back down and it's just like quiet, and then and it comes back. Yeah, it comes out like in Dookie, or I guess that's Coming Clean, whatever. But
I mean, Dookie does come out.
Yeah, everything comes out at some point. Anyway, so a lot of these songs are just kind of like I don't love them. I like a very specific part of it. One that is very against the norm is for some reason I just like love Fashion Victim. And that's one where I can't really tell you why. Like, I feel like a lot of my hot takes, I can be articulate in why I think that way. For some reason, Fashion Victim, I've just never understood why. I like the ohs they do in that. I just like the soft tone to it, and just the way he sings. He's like, she's a scented magazine. Because also, I feel like the lyrics are something where I'm just like, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. And I've never looked that far into it, but it seems very deep, and I have no idea what it's about.
That's how I feel about so much shit, where it's like, it feels deep, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and it's just this immaculate little tiny thing that I'm just like, what are you? And so I just like can't describe it. And so so I really like that one.
Fashion Victim has a moment in it that always makes me laugh, where his voice cracks. He's like, oh, when you
when you're dancing through you. I remember I played that song at camp, and there's a part where he says pedophile. and I remember being like, I'm gonna have to like mute it at this part and like play it. And so
hey kid, listen to this song. I love it. It's called Fashion Victim.
I was like, that wouldn't be a great one to play right now.
Yeah, maybe not. So, Robby, it's interesting that you were saying 21st Century Breakdown is your Kerplunk, because I always felt Warning was your Kerplunk. Because Spencer loves
I remember I was going to
21st
say
Century
that.
Breakdown.
Yeah.
But I feel like me and you love Warning. I feel like over the years you've kept it. It's gone a little bit down for me, but I feel like you've always really loved Warning more than everyone else.
Yeah, I think, oh man, it's been so long since I've like looked into the rankings and like the
I'm gonna get a candy
order
cane.
of all of it. Go for it, my friend.
It's his season.
Man, I don't know now, because it's so much more difficult. It's really hard. Because I'm looking at my old rankings of Warning, and I'm like, whoa, dude, you're way wrong. Like I had Blood, Sex, and Booze as a yellow, and I'm like, no, I really like that song. It's a green for sure. Jackass is the only yellow. It's the only thing bringing it down from being a no yellow album for me. But aside from that, Warning is a blue. Warning and Waiting are blues. Castaway and Minority. I almost said Minority. Castaway and Minority are cyans, and I'm actually going to say Macy's Day Parade is a purple.
Macy's Day Parade is also a purple for me.
I love it so much. And I think, like, numbers-wise, running it through, it might beat out 21st Century Breakdown, but I don't know if it beats Revolution Radio. But we'll get to that eventually. But all in all, I think Warning, it gets too much hate, man. It gets way too much. Because, there's a lot of songs in here. I'm pretty sure it's like one of the shortest albums they made.
No, actually.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think just like numbers-wise, there's only 12 songs, but
numbers-wise, yeah. Length-wise, it's just right in the middle at 41 minutes and 14 seconds. Oh. They're all other than the one we'll get to. They were mostly short early on. Insomniac's 32 minutes, Kerplunk's 33, Dookie's 39. But then Nimrod was 49 all of a sudden. They're like, what the fuck? And Warning's 41. So it's like, oh, okay, we went too long. So let's try and bring it back. Let's get
Is this allowed?
What the fuck? Is this allowed?
But yeah, no, overall, it has a really fun vibe with it. And I can honestly really think that the coolest part about the entire discography that ultimately capitalizes everything that is the tone with Green Day is you see the artists themselves grow up and mature and become better people and change overall. Like all of the tones that we've been talking about with all these albums from before, they've all been, they've all been changes and movements within their own lives. And that's essentially translated to the music. And nothing more so than with Warning, because like this is essentially like you called Nimrod the turning point for their career. I call it Warning, because Nimrod was still it still had its foot in the The foot was too far in the past for it to be that turning point. And Warning, it's really that foray into the next version of Green Day, the version of Green Day that I grew up loving.
Yep.
It still has similar vibes and similar sounds as Insomniac or a Dookie with like Fashion Victim and Church on Sunday, but the sounds of the way that they made Castaway and Waiting, and especially Macy's Day Parade, it's just so wonderful. It's a beautiful sound. The lyrics are some of the best, and this is really making me reconsider. Man, I have to re-listen to Warning because Warning might be my number 2. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, I was like, Robby loves Warning. That's his hot take.
It's so good. It is so good from top to bottom. Like, sure, Jackass is like a little bit of a misstep, but it's not abhorrently different. It's just, it's just a different sort of vibe. I'm very Pacific Northwest, as you can tell. I say vibe in every other sentence. But man, it's hard for me to put to words just how much I love this album, because like it starts off hot with Warning. Halfway through, you got a fire song with Castaway, and then it just ends it off with such like banger after banger after banger. Man, Waiting into Minority into fucking Macy's Day Parade.
Yeah.
I don't think this album gets the love that it deserves, and rightfully so. I'm going to proclaim it right now on this podcast. It's my number 2 album by Green Day ever.
Damn. So you'd put it, kind of good?
Kind of good.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Maybe
Yeah,
close to bad.
I would also put it in good, too.
Yeah, it's in good for sure.
This definitely good for me. This to me is where they really found their best consistency in the first half of their discography. I prefer Nimrod because Nimrod has higher highs. But basically take what Nimrod was building up to and make it more consistent, and you get Warning. Something I just realized, the music video for Minority is taking place during a parade, possibly a Macy's Day Parade. And yet Macy's Day Parade, the music video is him walking around ruins and like broken down construction sites. I find that interesting. I'm not exactly sure what that means.
I think a comment on that, I think it's their first step into talking about political movements, because the whole Macy's Day Parade is a very capitalism type thing.
Yep.
And it pushes out a lot of things, and that's very against what Green Day likes. And we see a lot more of that in the future coming forward with American Idiot, 21st Century Breakdown. I think that's kind of the reason why it's like the big turning point for Green Day, because like I said, like the sound is still very similar to before, but Minority, like in that vibe, I said it again, in that like environment with
Summer
Billy
vibes.
Joe, with Billy Joe being inside of like an environment like the Macy's Day Parade, like it's it's overwhelming to a lot of people. So like they might feel like they're the minority in this. They might feel like they're alone in this environment, to where Macy's Day Parade, it's really just this ruins of what was once great.
Yeah, you take a location that was once filled with a ton of people and a ton of things and remove all of it, suddenly it feels very big and empty.
Yep.
So Warning.
Green Day said fuck 12 in this album.
The Warning is really cool because it unfortunately was a financial failure. It was an album that was released at the lowest point in their career, at least at this point. Their popularity really weaned, I think is how you say it. Because most punk
wienered.
Because most punk rock bands, they're a one-hit wonder. Everyone at that point saw Green Day as Dookie, and that's it. Nimrod still had its place a little bit, but overall, by the time 2000 rolled around, for Green Day, it was already on its way out, and that's a natural thing. And I feel like that's what they were feeling as well as artists, even though at this point they had really grown and changed, not only as people, they're older, they have children by this point, but also the meaning behind their songs. They're no longer just complaining about how they're deadbeat losers. Instead, they've expanded what they're talking about to the world as a whole, and also about healing. You know, Church on Sunday is just a song about compromise and like, listen, I actually want to work this out, which is very different from what they were popular for, which was, fuck it, I'm not going to try. So for the teenagers who just want to relate to something because they don't want to care, they might not like Warning, because Warning is basically telling you to care. And teenagers don't want to be told to, you know, care about something because they feel like there's no point. So Warning is a more mature album in that. But I think also, I feel like I get the vibe in a way that Billy, Trey, and Mike felt like they were on their way out. They felt like, fuck, our popularity isn't what it once was. People don't like where we're headed now. Fuck. Which is reflected in the album cover. I don't like the album cover at all. Every album cover before this, all the way back to 1039, is a striking image that's cool and different. And it's like composited and it's creative. And it's like, oh, this is cool and different. I like this. And then you get a boring black and white photo of them walking. When you look at that, you see a picture of, shit, guys, I think we're done. So that's the interesting thing, because then when you listen to the album, you know, retrospectively now, it's like, shit, Warning's actually really good. I would say it's one of their most underrated albums by far. I think they're very consistent. And I have no yellows. I used to have a couple yellows. Even Jackass is now a green for me. I really love the beginning of Jackass because I think they're playing the electric guitar, but it's not plugged in. So it's like ding 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 ding. That's cool. I fucking love the solo and Hold On where it's the stomping. Boom, boom,
yeah.
Boom. I fucking love that. It's so yeah, just like that. Warning, fantastic start. Macy's Day Parade is a purple for me. I fucking love Macy's Day Parade. It is my second favorite acoustic ballad by Green Day. God damn it, I'm a sucker for those fuckers. Because what's interesting is I'm a sucker fucker. Because what I love doing, honestly, is listening to Macy's Day Parade and then Time of Your Life. For some reason, to me, they kind of fit. Because Macy's Day Parade is very similar in feel, but it's more cynical and more like lost in a way. It's this, you know, the lyric is what's the fucking lyric? Something about home. The one I've never known.
Today's a Macy's Day Parade.
Yeah, that one. Night of the Living Dead is on its way. Good movie. Whatever. Anyway, he's lost basically. Theaters. Macy's Day Parade. He's lost, and yeah, that's just it just gives me this overwhelming feeling of like, fuck, like I feel nostalgic, but I feel lost and scared. And then Time of Your Life is like, in the end, Time of Your Life makes me feel like it's gonna be okay. So
because I'm thinking about A Brand New Home, the one I've never known, because now I know that's all that I wanted.
Yep.
Pretty fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, well, Warning again. They went back to, okay, we're gonna sort of have a button, you know. We're going to have a nice, cool beginning to the album that really sets the tone, and then end it very well, because my favorite thing is ending albums with an acoustic ballad. I think that's the coolest way to end it, because it always just makes you then reflect on the journey that you were taken on with the album.
Alrighty. That lands in good, correct?
Yep, that is definitely the end of the first half of Green Day's discography.
Okay.
Goodbye.
We'll talk about more the second half in another one.
I'll have a bigger candy cane.
Probably. Well, at the end of the day, if you guys liked big in-depth music analysis,
that's a mix of movies and music
podcasts like this one, let us know. And yeah. Don't forget to subscribe and like and comment and all that good old stuff.
You better comment below that you want the second half, because you're about to get it.
You're literally like, well, we're about to get it in like a couple of minutes, but you're about to get it in about a week.
We're going to get it.
Dog, look, I'm smoking. Dog.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
I almost ended the call like that was gonna fucking do anything.